Good afternoon, friends. Holy moly, it's beautiful here in Vermont today. Welcome, welcome. Hi. As you come in, feel free to get comfy. Hopefully you have something to write with and draw on today. Feel free to drop in the chat where you're joining us from today. We'll give folks a few minutes to come in. This is the Slow Birding live session. If that's what you're looking for, you're in the right spot. Great. There you go. We like to give people a few minutes to arrive and to settle. Grab all your gear that you might think you need. Welcome, welcome. What is this? This is the 5th month. So this is my 5th live slow birding session. Very exciting. We have over 220 people now registered for this monthly practice. And it's okay if you don't show up every month, because what I try to do is record it and put it online so that you can tap into it later if you can't make it. So it's all right, no worries. And know too that when you register once, you're kind of set. You're in the system, so to speak, and you won't have to worry too much about registering over and over again. So let's see where we got. I see a lot of faces from Vermont, and then some friends from, yes, California, yeah, and North Carolina. Hi, Scott. Who else is here? Oh, and Connecticut, so good. I hope the day is as glorious where you are as it is here. Carol from British Columbia, yes. Welcome, Carol. So good to have you here. We've got, yeah, there's Janet. Hey, from the Harris Center for Conservation in New Hampshire. Hi, Janet. Good to see all of you. All right, as we wait, I like to give people about 5 minutes. I'm going to switch to the quote here that I'd like to share today. You can read that over. I'm going to read it out loud in just a minute or two. If this is your first time joining us, I like to give people a few minutes to roll in because I know it's like lunchtime. So maybe you're trying to escape a little bit from work. We're trying to finish up things so that you can settle in and join for our time together. It's normally about 45 minutes. Sometimes it's an hour. Today, you definitely want to have something to write with. We're going to be visiting an edge for some of us, which is drawing. I'm not going to ask you to draw birds, though. I don't want to share my bird drawings yet. I don't want to be that vulnerable. So we won't be doing that yet. All right. I think Cardinal's ready to go in the background. I know last time that we were on and we were focusing on listening things, you guys told me that you could hear the birds in my yard, and that's where I am today, in my backyard. Please excuse the sounds from the neighborhood. My neighbors are getting their roof reshingled, and so there's a bit of that in the background. But the practice that we're gonna put into play, we don't have to worry about noise, distractions, or anything. Cardinals definitely doing their best to speak over all of the city noise here today in St. Albans. All right, I'm going to minimize my participant thing. We'll pull the chat up. You want to have your chat open so that you can interact as well. All right. I know, Cardinal, I know, let's get going. So I'm going to share a quote for today. I've been thinking a lot about land connection, and as Sarah Mel mentions in here, where she says hi, that you know, this is the land of the Western Abenaki here. I've been thinking a lot about how to better get to know the land, and birds have really helped me to do that and ground myself in place. So today's quote comes from this incredible book that I read through, and I devoured it, and like I tabbed the pages and I underlined stuff in it because I just got so much out of it. And I'm reading it again because I feel like it went in really quick, and I like tried to process it up and then it went back out. And the book is called The Enchanted Life, Unlocking the Magic of the Everyday. It's by Sharon Blackie. And in this book, she writes, I know how to cultivate that kind of belonging. Learn the ecology, history, language, culture, mythology of your place. Go out into it for long periods of time, every day. Sit in the same place every day for an entire year, in all the seasons and all the weathers. I'm going to add, and all the noises. Talk to the land and listen to it. And maybe then you will have some claim to belonging to it. So part of what my slow birding practice has done with me is made me very connected with my backyard. And it's given me a practice so that when I go to other places and I slow down and I sit in place for a while, I'm feeling rooted in deeper connections with those places. So I encourage you to explore, I don't know, different parts of this a little bit more, whether it's ecology or history, language or culture or mythology. This is something that Sharon Blackie writes a lot about, is our own white European mythology and how that connects with the land as well. And I think birds are a really great portal for experiencing this. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. At least I think I am. And now I can't find the thing to do it. We're just gonna hopefully come out of that. Nope, it's not gonna let me. Why not? Huh. What if I just close it? There it is. Now I got the button. It was just too far down. Thanks for being patient with me. So, okay, so here's what we're gonna do today. I'm going to share a little story with you, and then we're gonna kind of break off for 20 minutes. And as we've done before, you can either stay in line for the 20 minutes, or you can step away for those 20 minutes. And if you really want to step outside, you can go and do that. Know too that I'm pretty confident that with the exercise that we're going to do today, especially if you're by a window, you're still going to have success with the prompt that I'm gonna give you. So here's the story part. I've been struggling a lot lately with migraines and how my eyes feel. A few weeks ago, I had one of those moments, and it was the first time I ever experienced this, where I got this weird kaleidoscope-like halo in the vision for my right eye. And it really scared me in a number of different ways. And I started to look into why this would be happening. Well, the obvious answer is too much screen time. Yes, Cardinal, way too much screen time. Cardinal's like, sing it, let's get off the screens as I'm talking to you all on a screen. And what I started to practice was doing that 20 minutes, working, then take 20 seconds to look up and gaze at least 20 feet away. And I actually found that when I moved my work into my sunroom where I had all these windows, that tension on my eyes was much different. The other thing that I've been noticing is when I've been going out to different places and sitting in place, I've been really drawn to horizons and horizon lines. I went to Kilcare State Park, which is at the northwestern end of Lake Champlain. And I sat by the water and I drew, I'll try to show this to you. I drew this really like scrappy, super quick, sketchy picture. And down at the bottom there, this was what I was wondering as I was noticing birds, horizon gazing. Where are the birds along the vertical and the horizontal? And so I started to just fill them in. I had another day when I was at the Missisquoi National Wildlife Refuge, and there's this field that had flooded and it had pushed all the ducks in right up close to the road. And I went at dusk, that golden hour, and gosh, it was so beautiful, right? The dark water and the ducks across the water, and then the golds and the oranges and the blue kind of coming in. And again, paying attention to what was going on in my body and feeling this really calm, relaxed kind of state come over me. And I started thinking about, what is it about this? What is it about horizons that are so attractive and calming? And it's something called panoramic vision and your optic flow. And when we open up our senses and our vision to this wider panoramic view, it actually decreases our stress level. And when we spend time on our phones and our screens, and we're reading news, like some of the news that we've gotten this week or in the past month, that is stressful, right? What it does to our brain and our vision is we get hyper focused and like almost pinned in, where your eyes, your pupils come really close to where your nose is, right? Like they come right in. And all of a sudden, this is your view. So no wonder when we go out in nature and we sit and we be with the birds, right? And we open up our vision, that we feel better. So that's what we're going to practice today, because it also ties into how we can know birds at a deeper level. So here's what I've been thinking about is, when we start to know birds truly, and we know the land where we find the birds, we also get some clues about what their habits are, where they might be nesting, where they like to forage, okay? So we want to make that bird-land connection. And this is a practice that I think you can do just about anywhere to do that. So here's what we're going to do today. So in our 20 minutes, I'm going to ask you to find a spot where you can gaze. And like my yard here, I'm actually facing my house so that you guys can see my backyard. So here, right here, I have some different horizon lines. I have my lawn. This part right here is kind of where I can see the hill, French Hill in the background that goes up and over to the next town. And then I have like the mid canopy, and out of the view of the video is the canopy, right? So I have all these different horizon lines that I can relax and gaze into. So we're going to relax our gaze and allow our peripheral vision to kind of take over a little bit. And we're going to notice those horizon lines. We're going to take a little time to do that. And then what I want you to try to do is draw. This is another example. This is like my backyard that I just did the other day. And I put the horizon lines in there. And then I added some of the trees and maybe the other markers. And then what I did is I just sat, and as the birds came in, I put them where I found them within that horizon and within that vertical layer of all of those different horizons. And I think you'll find it'll actually tell you a lot about your usual suspects and where they like to hang out in your yard, in your place, or if you're in a sit spot on the road, where they like to be there. All right, so relax your gaze, notice your horizon lines, spend a little time drawing. Then I want you to try to push in and out of that space. So remember how I was talking about this line right here being French Hill? And like here's the porch line, right? So if I go from close to further out and way further out, how far can I push my vision out there and push my awareness? Play around a little bit with that. Note who's there and who's missing. Who might you make predictions about? Like if you came out at a different time of day, where would you find different birds in those different horizontal, what we could call it, like, I'm thinking about geology stratification, right? For those of you who are geologists, our horizon lines on the land. Does that make sense to everybody? Give a little thumbs up. Martha's giving me a thumbs up. Right on. Carrie, Sally. All right, good. Feel free to come or go as you like. If you want to step away for 20 minutes, that's fine. If you want to stay, what I'm going to do is what I always do. I keep talking, and I'm going to gently talk you through the process that I'm experiencing while we do this practice of gazing at the horizon together. All right, so let's see. It's 12:16 right now. We're going to do our best to come back at math. Here we go with the math. 12:36-ish. Okay. 12:36-37. Like I said, feel free to step away. Feel free to pop things in the chat, like Sally in Waterbury, who's saying the red-winged blackbirds are going off. Awesome. All right. And I'm going to twist a little bit so that I can get started. Ooh, I gotta put my glasses on too so I can see far away. I'm gonna turn my chair. Grab my notebook. Oh, and I'm gonna stretch a little bit. I'm gonna stretch my neck from side to side. Give a little roll, maybe some shoulder rolls. Know that right now, all I have to do is notice. I don't know, maybe you want to take your shoes off. I'm taking my shoes off. Taking my shoes off and my socks off. It's another great way to be grounded. A couple deep breaths. Oh, and my left brain, my analytical brain is like, ooh, that's a this and that's a that. So I've told you guys, I shared this with you guys before. It's hard to shut off my left brain, my identification brain. So I'm just gonna start jotting down the side of my notebook here the birds that I'm hearing. So I can just let that go. So I hear American robin. Cheerio, cheerio, cheerio. Where are you? Oh my gosh, so cardinal is right off my right shoulder in the tree here. At about like what would be like mid canopy level, totally silent. Blue jay is chortling. All right, so I'm ready to relax my gaze a bit. I'm gonna make sure you can see Lake Mia just a little bit as I sit here. I'm gonna shift my angle from what I drew the other day. Oh, I almost need to stretch my face out so I can watch and notice and look in layers. There's white-throated sparrow. Sometimes it takes a while for my eyes to adjust when I step outside for a break from being on the screen. So give your eyes that time to relax and adjust. What I'm loving now with the horizon lines is I'm also getting horizon lines of color. So if you have colored pencils, right, after you fill in just a little bit, maybe you want to put some color in there. Man, my back lawn is popping right now. Okay, so I'm going to get my porch in here as my horizon, my first horizon line. That got quiet. So cardinal's still there on that same branch off to my right. Totally quiet, little bit of a tail bob. Ooh, little feather ruffle, I think. Oh, and he's gone. Oh, where'd you go? Okay, so back to my horizons. So I got my lawn. Then kind of like the edge of the property where the shrub layer is. That's where our fence is. I'm just gonna draw some blobby shrubs in there. And our big white pine tree. This doesn't have to be perfect. This is just for you. This is like your right brain exercise. So don't worry about making it perfect. I'm not even putting everything in. Okay. Then there's like this brown layer where kind of like the forest hasn't totally popped yet. And probably because the backdrop is French Hill. So I'm gonna put that in. And then we have the canopy way up at the top and the sky. Some of you may have done this meditative practice called sky gazing, which I just discovered the other day because I was so curious about gazing at the horizon, and that's what came up for me. So maybe that's the other reason why it's so delightful. Everything opens back up. Okay, so I have porch. I'm labeling. Ooh, ooh. Downy woodpecker just came in. All right, grass. Shrub property. Oh my gosh, who else? This is the hill. This is canopy. So the male cardinal is back again in this tree off to the right. Just giving little short, like chip notes and contact notes. Okay, I have my horizon lines down. Now I'm going to practice. I'm going to start really close, and I'm slowly going to roll across the landscape all the way out as far as I can through the trees in the back of my neighbors' yards, and maybe see if I can see the hill and the sky in the distance. So starting really close and just slowly like rolling out. Noticing as I roll out, I can relax into my peripheral vision as well. Okay, and then that just made me want to stretch my neck so I can roll up, roll out and roll up into the sky. That's a good exercise to do as we get ready for warblers, some of us in the northern states, right? Just unrolling and stretching. All right. So the other thing we were going to try, I think I'm going to put a little more detail in before we go to the next part in my drawing. I'm going to get some trees in here because I have some trees that I know are the trees where there are nesting birds. And I want to make sure I capture that one in here. Unfortunately, it's a little bit behind my kids' trampoline. So now I gotta try to draw a trampoline. Good enough. Okay. I'm gonna put the brook. I'm gonna just put brook down the side. Cardinal is still chipping behind me up in the maple tree. Okay. All right. Next thing I want you to try is if you got birds around you right now, try to put some of those in your drawing. Where are they on the horizon? If they move, can you track where they move to? All right, Laura's holding hers up. I love it. Yes, hold yours up while you're working on it too. I love that. Nice. Just got some stuff on the ground and car. Oh, street, the street view, the street horizon. Yes. Awesome. So good. I'm mimicking somebody here that I'm not recognizing. Cardinals way in the back. And then the other one up above my head. I've got black-capped chickadee in here. They sound like they're out in the woods out back. Oh, here come the goldfinch. We're just gonna throw those through here because they're going overhead in the canopy. So let's say you don't have any birds, you're not seeing any birds. Think about the birds that are your usual suspects. Like, who are the birds that you see on a daily basis or hear on a daily basis? There's, yeah, cardinal. And I want you to put them in the different horizon lines where they show up the most. So for example, white-throated sparrow isn't here right now that I can see. They might be around the corner, but they like to be down on the ground. So I'm gonna put white-throated sparrow in my little grass layer. And then the shrub layer across the edge of the backyard is the other place. So make some predictions. So here we're creating like kind of a map. Like, where can I expect to see my usual suspects? Where will they be hanging out? I space out and gaze for a bit, and the breeze just came through our neighborhood, and so all the white pines are just gently moving in that too. I'm looking at Sally and Sarah, and you guys have bright sunny days, just like me. And I'm like, the sun, oh my gosh, the sun is so bright. That's the other thing, right? Visually, you have to allow your eyes some time to adjust to all the brightness and the glory of an awesome Vermont spring day. Oh, I just heard ruby crown kinglet. And where would I project the kinglets to be? They like the conifers. So I'm going to scan my yard and my neighbor's yard for movement in the conifers. Okay, I just have to do a happy dance. First swallow of the year that I get to add to my backyard bird list. Just zoomed over the top. Yay. Okay. that goes in the sky layer, which I don't have enough page for. So if you haven't heard me talk before, my family and I have a backyard big year list. It's like a giant post-it note that's on the wall in our sunroom, and anybody can add to it as long as you have your feet in the yard or your feet in the house. So oftentimes it's funny, our neighbors will see us running down the street going something like, turkey vulture, get your feet in the yard so we can count it. Not too hard today with the swallows, because now there's a zooming around up above. All right. Ronique's got soft raindrops starting in Seattle. Oh, how does that shift? I know that, we had rain. Was it yesterday or the day before? A good rainy day. And now everything here is just popping, bumping green. And I know it's only gonna get more intense as we get a little bit more rain. All right, so how's everybody doing? We got about 5 minutes left. I don't know, maybe this is the time when you add some color. I'm gonna bust out my things. I try to get up at dawn sometimes, maybe at least once a week. Dusk is easier, but it's not always like an easy time to create a moment. But noticing how the light changes in your sit spot space and how that affects what your horizons look like. I'm just going to add a little bit of color. It's my big pine tree here. Oh no, branches kind of go like that. There's the flicker. Hi, where have you been today? Okay, I get to put the flicker in. That's about mid canopy because I know where their nesting hole is. Northern flicker. It's this beautiful poplar that they've come back to 2 years in a row now. Get a little bit here. And then I'm gonna put some brown in for my shrub line and where all the brush pile stuff is. I'm not making it perfect. It's just trying to capture some of the things that I'm seeing. There goes Ruby Crown Kinglet again singing. Had my first vireo in the yard this weekend. Blue-headed vireo came through. Haven't had our first warbler yet, so we're still waiting for that one. And my porch. I'm gonna put porch in here and blue sky way up top. As we wrap up, if you are outside, tip your face to the sun for a minute. Oh my gosh. I mean, if you're inside at a window that's facing the sun, and Ronique, feel those soft raindrops if you're outside on your face, right? I'm just gonna express a little gratitude for a sunny day after a long winter and the singing of chickadee and cardinal and the teeny tiny ruby crown kinglet. Super. All right. Ronique is grateful for the rain. No, I encourage people to go out in all kinds of weather, or at least sit by a window in all kinds of weather. The white-throated sparrows were so active when it was raining out at my house the other day, and it was just really fun to kind of zone out and watch them. All right, so as we come back together, I'm just gonna scroll up on the chat and see what people are sharing here. So Lynn is in Chittenden, Vermont. She says lots of birds chirping here. I don't know many songs to ID them, and that's okay. Right? Last week we talked about kind of listening to the whole soundscape and letting it all come in, and then picking one to start to get to know, right? Get to know suspects. Who are those birds that I can see on a daily basis, and maybe what are their voices like? Let's see, no birds. I'm filling in my landscape, right? Great, where I usually see them. I love that, Martha. Right, so predictions, right? That's part of getting to know, and Martha's holding hers up right now. Nice, very cool. All right, green everywhere as well, says Ronique. Laura's got broad-winged hawks about. That's good. Sarah says I can hear all the birds in my front yard. Thanks, you guys. While I sit in the back. Geez, sometimes they just don't cooperate, right? I'm like, where do you want me to be so that we can hang out together at lunchtime today? Awesome, awesome. Martha says, saw my first catbird. Yeah, I heard my first catbird, not my yard, but on a walk. And at that point, my intention was exercise. So I didn't stop to visit catbird. I said hello, and then I kept going. All right, so I'm gonna hold up my picture. And like I said, it's just scrappy, right? It's just for me to start to think about all the layers that are here and where birds hang out in those layers. This is that it? No, my dump list is here for where I've just quickly jotted down. That's my left brain that's like, can't shut it off. So I'm just gonna be like, okay, let's get that down and get it out of there. Carol says, lots of big urban noise here, but I'm hearing a lot of chickadees. Great, not visible. Perhaps a starling, a crow came by to preen in the sun. The chickadee came by to peck the bark in a cherry tree. Seagull squawk. Oh, and who's right above? Like, can I scroll this gently so I can get up here? Carrie says, some I could just hear. Mourning dove, where was it? Right? This is the other thing about kind of knowing the land where you're sitting and trying to be able to pinpoint, right? Sarah was saying her birds were in her front yard. No, now I got to go sit out there and see where those guys like to hang out, guys and gals like to hang out, right? Where is Mourning Dove? There's a complex singer. Great. I don't know who it is, but it's a complex song. Nice. Perhaps grackles in the trees. Wish I had brought our binos. I brought my binos, but I didn't even use them once. Yeah. Sometimes we use them and sometimes we don't. And that's totally fine. It's totally fine. Robins in the grass. Good, good. Starling party. Yeah, starling party in the front yard. I have, there's a starling a couple of years ago and I ended up naming him. I figured out it was a him based on the displays that he was doing, and he would sit in our front yard on a wire by the silver maple that had a nice round nesting cavity in it. And all those feathers would come almost up, like out straight on the front, and the wings would be down, but they would be like fluttering tight. And he would just go into this full on. And every time Stu did that, like it was the shift in what I was hearing. And he had a spot outside the hole on the wire in the front yard. And so I did a little homework and found out that like it's like guys standing on the corner calling out at girls. Yeah, little whistles here and there for the ladies. He had found a great nesting cavity and was trying to let the other females that were flying by know that he's got a spot. Come and check out my nest in your area. Super. What happened for you during this? What came up? How did it feel? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Anybody else want to share drawings? I'm just going to scroll through the so much inner city noise. Yeah. Yep. That practice last month, we talked about learning how to listen and pull sounds in and out and be able to suppress certain sounds so that we could hear the ones that we desire to hear and to connect with. And it's definitely a practice. It takes time. I got really upset this morning because I was like, oh, I gotta go someplace else because there's workers next door and they're ripping off roof shingles and banging and all of that. And then I was like, no, you know what? I think I can do this. I think I can push that to the side and still be present and still do this activity. Nice. Martha says, I liked becoming more familiar with my far horizon. My far horizon. Oh, nice. What are the horizon lines in our lives and in the places that we like to visit? What is it about them that bring us peace and calm? Sally says, I like the near far aspect, very soothing. Yeah, I liked the thinking about rolling my gaze out and all the way up and then almost like there I'm doing wax on, wax off, right? Almost, what is that? Tai Chi, right? Moves, right? Good, good, good. I never thought about all the horizon levels right here in the backyard. And the birds will show you those places. Sparrows are brown and on the ground, right? Like that's where their jam is. Thrushes, like the same way. And then we've got the jewels of the forest, all those warblers that are bright colors because they want to, be that flash of that flashiness within the canopy. So getting to know those levels will also help us to get to know the birds. Ronique says, love looking at the layers and different shades of green. So many big leaf maples now bursting with pollen and caterpillars. Ronique's out west, right? Ronique, northwest. Maples now bursting with pollen and caterpillars providing so much for the birds. Yeah, Ronique's in Seattle. She's in a different seasonal shift than we are, just a little bit ahead of us here in Vermont. Sarah says, thinking a lot about the ways my fence horizon line is popping later in the afternoon and early morning, but very quiet during the noon hour. And I like how you put apparently. This is the other notion that I've been trying to break up, is that in order to be a birder, you don't have to get up at dawn to enjoy birds. Here, all of us are sitting at noontime, and there are birds and they are active. They're still there, just in different ways. So don't let that limit you. Don't let the workers across the street limit you, or the kids that just came into my neighbor's backyard limit you, right? Like, yeah, it's still all there. Well, you guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to drop a little something in the chat box here. Hopefully it's still going to work. Yep. So I do these for free every month. If you've already donated, thank you so much. This is a great practice for me to expand my slow birding work and experiment with a bunch of different things, which is why I want to offer it for free and be here with you each month. But I'll let you know that the donations help, because what I'm discovering is that while I want to have a business and I want to reach as many people as possible, I can't always do that because funds limit what people are able to do. So the donations go towards those groups that when I chat with them and they say, oh, I don't think we can do this, I put the money towards that, or getting a couple new sets of binoculars so I can expand my kit. So things like that. So if you feel so inclined, and you can donate at any level that you want there, at any time. Two more things before I say goodbye. For those of you who have taken the level 1 slow birding course, I got a level 2 coming up in June. It's all about bird behavior, which is the thing that really kind of sent me off on my slow birding journey was wanting to know more about bird behavior. So that's a 4-week course. It's online at my website at birddiva.com. If you haven't taken level 1 yet, you can take the level 1 as an on-demand. It just doesn't have the group discussions. And the next level 1 intro to slow birding will be in the fall. And finally, next month. Okay, so next month I have the honor, privilege. I'm really grateful that I will be at the Acadia Birding Festival in Maine. And I'm co-leading a trip, a day-long trip to the Schutic Peninsula that day. And what I'm going to try to do is carve out, it may be a shorter amount of time at noon, but to come live from Maine, from like coastal Maine. Like how cool would that be to be with the sea ducks and all the birds there that make the coastal habitats their home. So I will let you know how that goes and how and if we're able to do that. And so I think that's it. So just stay tuned for what June will bring. Thank you all for being here with me this afternoon. It was such a delight. I'm like, I'm so relaxed and chill now. I'm like, I don't take on anything. Laurel, please email me. So there's some private messages coming in. Drop me an email with your specific questions, and then I can spend a little bit more time getting back to you. Thanks again, you guys. Enjoy your day. And yeah, get in touch with the land and the birds where you are. Take care.